2, 1.
Where are you really from? No, where are you really from? If you've been asked this question, you automatically are thrown into a certain group. And looking back and answering this question allows you to reflect on not only yourself, but on who you are as a person. Are we going to make pani puri?
We'll have pani puri.
Yeah, no. We can make chana and pani puri.
I've got the water mixed anyway.
Yeah, just quick thing so we can hear that. Shall I close the door? Thank you.
Sorry, love, sorry.
No problem. That was my mum speaking on the voice note. Okay, let's go. So I'm making a short documentary interview piece revolving around social issues, and it's going to be discussing and observing internalized racism within British South Asians. Media and the representation go really in hand for me. I've done a lot of film work and been more involved in media as I've grown in my career. Making content like this, you do your own in your mind research. I think to dig deeper. Looking in the mirror, I think there is a blurriness to it when it comes to my identity. I used to be very defensive about it. I was very strong when it came to, no, I'm British. I'm very, very just sticking to just British. Like reflecting back on my childhood past and seeing it, rewinding it back in my head, it's just very frustrating sometimes to not defend myself or fight back even. I felt very passive, and it felt like I was just being walked on when it came to those slight little digs that I subconsciously didn't even notice. And there were situations where someone was being clowned on that was the same as me and the same as my race. It was very much that sheep mindset where you would join and you wouldn't defend them. So I wouldn't be nervously laughing at a discrimination and not standing up for it, or not standing up to someone who was like me. That was my point and way of assimilating and fitting in to that group of people. It wasn't until when I got a little bit older into my teens, I consciously would use those same stereotypes as well and do that to someone else. And that was the point where I was comfortable and they were comfortable with me, and I thought that they were accepting me. It's to use those stereotypes and almost insult yourself and discriminate yourself. At the time, it was considered the best thing to fit in. I wish there were a lot more role models during that time. Now it's happening. It's starting to build up, especially in the industry of film and TV. My aim, originally and throughout this whole process, is to really highlight this complex thinking of British South Asians. It's something that's very close to me, and it's something that's very difficult for me to delve into, but receiving clarity and receiving a form of reflection is the best way for me to understand myself as a person living in this society where, based on what I look like, can be very difficult. And it's my journey of how I create a pathway to a more reflective and more progressive mindset. Yeah, I've gone through different questions for the interview, and I'm just breaking it up into around 4 little sections. So I've got this one, growing up, how much exposure did you get from South Asian culture living in the UK? So do you think that would be a good question to ask for the different generations?
Well, yes, yeah. Because I came over when I was around about 13. It was quite difficult to fit into a small house because there was 7 of us and there was 6 of them. And so the bedrooms were pretty big, but then we had to share a room, the whole family.
And you got a lot of culture, like the South Asian culture, when you moved here?
Obviously, we were new to the country and new to the house and the environment that we were brought into. So you didn't know anybody, but they didn't have any committees or any support or any temples or anything. There was no foundation there at all. But as Asians do, they have a little shrine in their own homes. So we had one.
As the questions go on, I do want to talk a little deeper and have a more of a deeper connection with my contributors. So I'll ask questions like, how far would you go to fit into an environment that continuously rejects you? And I feel like that'll give them opportunities to chat about their inner thoughts. So if someone posed that question to you, what's your mindset for that?
Well, obviously coming to a new country, it's hard to get into the society. There's nothing different about me. I've got the same nose, same eyes, same mouth, and only that I'm a bit darker than you. But we used to get a lot of like, Pakis, you go home, yes. But then as children, we thought we're not Pakistanis, we are Africans, Indians, we're not Pakistanis, because there's a cultural difference between them, and that's what it was. So if you sort of confront them in the playground, said, don't call me a Paki. If I cut my finger, I'll bleed the same as you would. They would sort of say, oh, haven't you had a bath today? You smell of curry. Which obviously we don't have curry for breakfast anyway. We had toast and stuff, biscuits. And it used to be like this, and they would not sit next to you, right? Because you smell of curry. And basically, you know, the girls who used to call his names, towards the end they became friends. I think it's the case of different people, isn't it? They look different, they're different colour, the culture is different. So obviously they think, you know, that maybe we're a threat to them. But once they learn about you, you're not. And that's how we become friends. Yeah.
Creating this piece of content and allowing people who watch it to understand the situation, but then also for me as well to understand it. And I think that's, I feel like in a small way, that is my sort of contribution to it. That's
my mind thinking about stuff, down, thought about it for years.
And that's what I'm hoping to get from the documentary is when I ask the questions and when I go through that flow, it makes them think towards the end. And that's like a main goal I really want to go for with my contributors. At the end of it, they have a step back and think, oh wow, I've gone through these questions and it's like a journey I've gone through. And I really hope to get that little bit of reflection from them.
But it is a journey that we all take. It's not who you are or what you are, it's what you can do. That's where you are, my baby, there. And that's when we came to visit you when you were born, because we were going to Turkey. So the day before we left, we come to see you because you're our first grandson.
Yeah. What do you think? What was your thoughts when you saw me?
I fell in love with you from the day you were born. These are all the memories that we have, and you have these memories, and they last you a lifetime.
Yeah.
And even when I'm gone and, you know, no longer here, you would still remember that, won't you?
Oh, yeah.
My dilly. My little dill.